the country, the activists, the civil rights, the struggling parents, the families, the teachers, the students that are realizing that a system built to divide, impoverish, and destroy us cannot stand if we do it. All right? It's kind of basic mathematics.
If you hear me, could you feel me, could you free me? Wonder if I made a difference or made a difference. Bump that, we are the difference. We ain't got no code to decipher. Brother, I would never call you trife. You my brother, though they knife and fork our meals. Then cop the silly feels. Yet it's slimy, kinda grimy. Miscalculated the timing. But you can't plagiarize something in disguise and think we have no eyes to see something real as we. This is seriously who we be. See, this here is true indeed. The real deal, thoroughbred, like collard greens and cornbread. Can't recite what's never said. Purpose keeps us fed. Real man. This is Grand A, hope fed. But still, you are my brother. Above you, there's no other. Blood or something other. More like what the blood covers. Man, no matter what they say, we good over this way. This is positivity in the making. Helping others to break through. Without breaking. Without breaking. Without breaking. Without breaking. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It's Thursday, so you know what that means.
Brother Empowerment Day. What's up, everybody?
So if this is your first time watching the show now, this is not one of those bashing shows, but it is an opportunity for us to engage in a healthy conversation and hope that we will have something in the conversation that will help others and their families' lives be a little bit better, or at least someone they know. Before we get into our special guests, when I tell you they are special, man, wait till I tell you the things that these people have been doing behind the scenes. Woo. Yep. Before I do that, bro, how was your week?
Man, this past week has been really dope, man. I actually went to Virginia this past weekend, hung out with my cousins. It was amazing, man, to see them, man. So it was pretty good. Even though the weather was crazy bad, it was still really, really good to see them. I don't get to see them too often, maybe like once or twice a year, if that. So it was pretty good, man. And then earlier this week, I've been catching up on stuff that I had been putting to the side. So it felt good to get some stuff out of the way and really catch up with some stuff. So it was just good, man. So it's been really productive and really family oriented, man. So that's been my week, man. What about you, bro?
Well, man, it feels like if everything can be thrown at you in 1 week, I think I've experienced that week. Normally I'm one that try to find some positivity. This week I kind of struggled with it just a bit. Mm-hmm. We had a death in the family.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Which is why I'm not home, and that's why we're not in the studio right now. And then my wife wasn't feeling well and needed her attention on certain things as well. And then, like, even today, man, the internet went out. I didn't know if we were going to be able to do the show. I'm like, everything that could possibly happen wrong did happen. But then there are some silver linings. So today is our spokesmodel's birthday, Dana, who's the big 21. Dana Henry is 21.
Yep. Happy birthday to her.
Yeah, and Jude the dude turns 4 today.
Yep. So brother.
That's pretty awesome. So those were some positive highlights about today. But other than that, man, I was looking for, today is our 4-year anniversary of knowing each other, bro.
Yep. On Facebook.
4 years. Yeah, on Facebook.
Yeah.
Did we meet? I don't know.
Before.
On Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's like, it's bro-anniversary, like 2 times. I don't know. Years knowing each other, so that's pretty dope as well. So let's get into our guests.
Yes.
So I think we're going to go in the order of the screen. We got Kimberly McGhee. Tell the people who you are, who you is, who you be. You muted. Got to unmute first.
I was waiting for you to do that. I try to be in order, decency, and in order. So, hey guys, I'm Kimberly McGhee, one of the co-hosts of L.O.V.E, and I'm also I own a management firm. So we do event management, content management, and then we do care management. So And I'm also a dancer, which is my passion.
That's what's up.
Awesome sauce.
Yeah.
And then we got Kimberly Winborne. Tell the people who you are, who you be. I was about to say just Kim, and I was like, no, let me be a little bit formal. Let me act like I got sense.
Kimberly, that's what my grandma put on my Christmas cards and stuff. Kimberly Winborne. I'm Kimberly, as he said. I am co-host of Love and Flow TV, founder of Coffee and Collaborations Media, and CEO of Kimberly Winborne LLC, which is finance and communications consulting. Jay would like for me to go on, but I'm going to stop right there.
Oh, if y'all mess up introductions, I'm going to tell them all.
You always add more.
Don't be disrespecting your gifts.
I am the founder of a nonprofit as well called Beauty 180 Incorporated that supports women in transition from homelessness, domestic violence, abuse, as well as coming out of prison or divorce. So any sort of transition where families are left reckless, the nonprofit supports that. And we also support the youth to help them to realize that they're beautiful from the inside out.
Pretty good. She skipped some things, but we're not going to go over that. You know, we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Dionne, that part long so we can move on.
Oh, okay. Dionne, tell the wonderful people who you are. Unmute first. Look at it. Mouth gone. Unmute.
Oh, my bad. You can't hear me. Okay, so yeah, I'm also one of the co-hosts of the show Love and Flow. I'm also a certified life coach in the community. I'm the owner of Perfectly Flawed Life Coaching Services, where we actually work with individuals on financial literacy and personal wellness. And I'm also the nonprofit owner of Perfectly Flawed Community Center for mentorship with young adults.
Thank you, Dionne, for doing it.
I also post a lot of thought-provoking questions on my page daily. So, you know, I like to keep the minds wondering and provoked.
We call them social media traps.
That's exactly what it is. Kenia, thank you. Please introduce yourself. But thank you, Dionne, for the only one doing it right so far.
I am Kenia Thompson. I am also a co-host of Love and Flow. I am the founder of Word Crumbs, which centers around all things communication, public speaking, conversation, leadership, enrichment, and brand awareness. I'm also an educator, so I teach on the collegiate level. I teach all things communication, and yeah, they call me a master communicator.
That's what's up.
Yeah, after today, bro, I think we're going to call her the muscle because
she
took over. She was like, this is straight sister empowerment. She was like, brother empowerment, what?
Yeah, we call her the director. That's your new nickname, I think, the director.
I'll take it.
So, bro, would you go ahead and let us know who we have viewing?
Okay, so let's see. We got Reese is on. What's up, Reese? We have Al Howard is on. What's up, Al, man? Lenore. Hey, aka Miss Lenore Ford, she's on. Ricky Williams, aka The Beard, he's on. What's up, bro? Let's see. Tara is on. Hey, sis. We have Rashia is on. Hey, Rashia. Who else? We have Uncle Marcus is on. What's up, Uncle?
What's going on, Unc?
We got Lakeisha is on. Michael Smith is on. What's up, Michael, man? Let's see. We got that's it. We got Ron Davis. What's up, Ron, man? And for everyone else, if I missed you, please throw a comment down so we can shout you out. Can't see everybody, unfortunately.
And we got Sean in YouTube land. And also, we're trying something new tonight. So for the people who are in Instagram or LinkedIn world, definitely come over to either YouTube or, because I think it directs you to YouTube. So definitely put some comments in so we can see who you are. And if you're viewing us, definitely let us know so we can give you guys some shout out. Kim, I got Kimberly Winborne. First of all y'all, shut up. Kim is my friend. Kimberly Winborne is you're the third person I met here. And we've been friends for now 6 years. And I can call her Kim. Y'all better call her Kimberly. They checking me. Lenore and Al checking me, talking about get your name right. Shout out. Nope. My friend. Okay. And then you said Melvin was on. He said, hey.
What's up, Melvin, man?
So one of the things, guys, that I did like about this, little backstory, Dionne used to have what were called perfectly flawed conversations, right? Mm-hmm. And we truly became friends because Dionne is one of the few women, her and Landy, that and Malika, we could argue with, and it was no hard feelings. It was literally like, "Ooh, that was good. Y'all want to go to lunch?" Whereas other people,
because we were like the debaters. We loved to have that debate.
Yeah, and I think that we all knew that the common goal was to strengthen our community. So I was so glad when you had those. I used to look forward to them. It was like, who's gonna be there?
Listen, I miss it so much. Like I miss it so much. So I'm so excited to actually see that we were invited tonight because it felt like old times.
Mm-hmm. And Kimberly is the reason. Kimberly Winborne is the reason I know a lot of people, because every time I met Kim or met her somewhere, literally she introduced me to like 30 people. And I was like, God, hey, Kim, how you know all these people? This is and our friendship was formed out of that. She, along with my former barber, is actually the reason I decided to do entrepreneurship. Not that they made it look easy, they made it look doable. And so I'm always going to have that type of relationship with Kim because she actually pushed me out there to do it. And so knowing 50% of the group, I knew that Love and Flow was already awesome. But guys, I put the URL of the other 50% of these ladies, like Kimberly McGhee and Kenia. I'm so glad she said her name in the video because I was about to give her one. I was going to go ahead and give her like a fancy spin on it. It was going to be like fancy.
Anaya.
But she said it and I was like, oh, Kenia, makes sense.
Yeah.
But guys, I need for you, not now, but after the show, go over to those websites, check them out, follow them, see what they're doing. And most importantly, I love the fact that she's a communicator. Because y'all know the book is out, Love is Communicating. Ampersands and commas, the second installment of the Love is a Parable curriculum. So you definitely want to pick that up, but also check these ladies out. And then I saw Kimberly McGhee up there dancing. I say, oh. So yeah, you know, anything creative, anything dealing with anything like language or all of that, you know, it piques my interest. So these are some dope women. So I'm definitely looking forward to checking out and seeing what this discussion is going to be like. Y'all ready?
Oh yeah, got plenty of topics too.
Man, I know. Remember we had backlog, and I was like, bro, forgot you need to put that thing out there.
I won't put it out there next week. Not like that.
And then be doing the same thing. But let's go over some statistics and why we do what we do with brother empowerment. Researchers have found that at least 1 in 6 men have experienced sexual abuse or assault, whether in childhood or as adults. The top 3 causes of men's death: heart disease, cancer, and unintentional injuries. Rape of males. A CDC study found that in the US, 1 in 71 men had been raped or suffered an attempt within their lifetime. The same study found that 1 in 21, or 4.8% of men that were surveyed, had been made to penetrate someone else, usually an intimate partner or an acquaintance. Men die 3.53 times more often than women. Here are the top 5 fears of men: body image, money, height, other men, and being inexperienced. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have experienced some form of physical violence by an intimate partner. Teenage boys are 4 times more likely than girls to drop out of school and represent more than 75% of the children referred to special education. So ladies, before we get into the discussion topics, what are your thoughts about any of those statistics?
I think they're overlooked. I think I actually had a conversation about this about a couple of weeks ago. That I think the statistic I had pulled, 77% of suicides are men in our lives that commit those suicides. And I think that there's a huge gap in knowledge and education in that space, because we take for granted that men are strong, they're bigger than us, they seem like they have it all together, but it's very overlooked. Is my thought.
I want to piggyback off of that because especially in the Black community, with just having conversations about that. So hearing those statistics are very astounding as far as, just the numbers. But I think what is more astounding is the fact that we still have so much work to do as far as having the conversations and making it very normal to, correcting the behaviors and being able to be comfortable, having the conversations about those different topics.
Yeah. I think when I think about the numbers, I remember you and I researching some numbers one day and being like, wow, with different things. Me, I just always think about the numbers because of the stigma of, being that strong man or being a Black man or just whatever. I think about the unreported numbers, the unreported cases of people who have been raped or abused or, just so forth and so on. And it also helps me to celebrate, though, because more men are beginning to have these conversations, such as a show like this that gives people a platform and an opportunity to speak out and be among other brothers that can help lead them and guide them through whatever their processes are. So now more men are kind of given a open door to have the conversations. So hopefully the statistics will get a little bit more closer to what's actually reality, so more people can get help in all areas that were mentioned. The suicide rate, all the areas that were mentioned.
Right.
Yeah, I think just for me, being a novice and a historian, is you have to understand, and particularly men of color, you have to understand the history going back to slavery in terms of the silence that Black men have had to endure over the years, all the way up until now, and not having the opportunity culturally, in terms of economics, to have a voice. And that voice has been muddled and muffled for decades and decades and decades. So I don't think you can even get to a point if you don't really pull back the history behind that and deal with those things, so that our community, the Black community, can understand, particularly men of color can understand that what we've been taught by our grandfathers and grandmothers and through the church and all of those things, allowing men to have a safe space to not be judged and not be criticized and looked at with compassion, then you could really get down to the bottom and the root of all of this in dealing with those stigmas.
Yeah, I definitely agree with all of you in that regard, because I was molested at 11. I didn't report mine, but I also went into counseling at 23. At 23, and I stayed in there up until I was about 37, 38 years old, that I stayed in counseling. But the thing, and I was also suicidal at times, and this is what people don't understand about these things. We can't look at them from a singular lens, because people don't usually commit suicide because of one thing. Mm-hmm. There are multiple things that are going on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't realize. And we're not normalizing being a victim. We are normalizing the conversation about when things happen to us, to seek help, to reach out, and to get the guidance that we need to navigate through this thing, because there isn't a manual to life. And we don't want you to put that pressure on you to assume that there is one and assume that you have to figure things out alone. Definitely know that you have people that you can connect to. And that's the reason why we have this show. That's the reason why we have a whole place where you can submit things confidentially, where nobody will reach out to you other than Cordell and I, because we want to make sure that you know that you're in a safe space. And if we don't have the answers, we definitely will connect you with the ones who do. Okay?
Yeah,
Awesome.
I absolutely love that. Just the fact that there's so many people that you're connecting with along this journey, that, you know, you have different people on the show, you have different professionals that are going to be able to provide, you know, those resources for people to not only just know that they have a safe space to unleash or to be open about how they feel or what their thoughts are, but to also be able to get help, like to be able to, you know, correct the things that they may be feeling or thinking.
Agreed. Chanel is on. Hey, Chanel. And then Roger came on. He said, good evening, everyone. What you about to say, Kimberly?
I was going to say, I think one of the key components to going back to is education and communication. And I think you can't even communicate if you don't know how to. So education to me is essential. And having those moments where you can really educate not only men, but women, and how women can communicate to men too, and vice versa. Because, you know, that old saying is, you know, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. We do see things differently. We do communicate differently. And I think too, and I'm guilty of this as well, I come from a very strong Black father who was abandoned as a kid, raised by his grandmother. But my father, I don't know what happened in his life. He made a pledge to himself that he would always make sure he communicates. So he is an overly communicator, but he made that dedication to himself, and we benefited from it as children. But it was a process for him, and I know that he took responsibility for himself to be educated. Like, he really poured in his own life to make sure that he couldn't rely on anybody to educate him. He would do it himself.
Wow. Shout out to your dad too, for not making excuses, but making reasons to push forward. That's pretty dope. We got Superman on. Kerwin said, peace, family. What's going on, bro?
Hey, Kerwin.
We got Elijah. He's on. He's speaking.
What's up, man?
And we got Tamara on too.
Hey, Tamara.
Y'all need to meet Tamara. She has a show on Fridays called Talk with Tams. And it's really about helping individuals deal with life interruptions. She's a mother, and she has young kids, and helping navigate. And so she's real dope too. So I definitely need to make sure that you guys connect.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Kim, I want to say she a AKA.
Oh, is she?
That's her only flaw.
Oh, that's
Other
no,
than that, she's
that's
pretty
not.
dope.
Right, that's her best, one of her best features.
Yeah, her blemish. Right. She made it a beauty mark. So look, let's go ahead and get into the first discussion question. I feel like we're not going to get off of this, but I'm still going to do it. Russell Wilson being called a simp or corny because he publicly talks about his love for his wife, Sierra. Whew. Bro, you want to open it up? Because I feel like once it goes around, I don't know where we're going to go with this.
I mean, this has been I've seen this since they even got together. And, you know, it just has intensified over the course of their marriage. They've been married for several years now. I think they celebrated an anniversary not too long ago. But I mean, I think it really boils to, it's a couple things. One, you know, Russell Wilson is, you know, some people think that he's boring or he's corny or whatever, because he's not, you know, he doesn't have like a flashy image. He's not like other athletes who are flashy or have like this braggadocious attitude. He's really just himself. He doesn't really go outside of his lane when it comes to his personality. He's just himself. And he has no problems with showering his affections and telling and showing other people how much he loves his family, his wife, you know, his son and his bonus son, you know. So I think that's one of the things that adds to it. Some people, and they live a life that some people can only dream about. You know, he is a an accomplished multi-millionaire athlete who has won a Super Bowl, has money. And so not only can he do a lot of things that a lot of other black men don't have the resources to do at this moment or just period, but he doesn't care what people think, you know? And so I think that is one of the things that I think people are so used to seeing people putting on social media that when things are genuine, especially among black couples, that they automatically get skeptical. But really, Russell Wilson is just like, I love my wife. I want to do things for her and show her that how much I care about her. So I'll do things for her, like buy her masters so that she benefits 100% from her music career, you know, and I will accept her son from her previous relationship. You know, I will do this and that, and I don't care what people think, and I'm unbothered. And so I think that's what adds to him being called this and that, is because not only does he do things without a care in the world for what people think, he does things that other people can't do because they don't have trust, they don't have that within them. So that's my take on it. For sure.
I wanted to add something because I think that I had actually posted something on my page as well about this whole topic. I was actually really, really surprised at the male response to this whole particular topic and calling him a simp and being soft and weak. I was very, very surprised. But I did see, you know, through some of the comments, you know, some of the people's or some of the men's reasoning behind why they felt like he was soft or they had an issue with him. Because, you know, I'll take me a Russell all day long. Do you hear me?
So what were some of the reasons?
So the reasons was because my thing is this. I think it's the nice guy versus the bad boy. You know what I mean? Because, you know, you had Future who has had, you know, several baby mamas and didn't have a good experience with Sierra. And I think that was like the issue was that, you know, here we are comparing Russell and Future is, you know, the bad boy. But what they were basically saying from what I heard from the men was that they had an issue with the fatherhood aspect of the way that Russell came in and, you know, has stepped in and been obviously a good stepfather, a good bonus father to Sierra's son that she has with Future. But it was something about a kiss on the lips or something. And just the way that he did something disrespectful that men were not cool with from a father standpoint. Did anybody hear anything about that?
No, but does that make him corny or simp?
Yeah. Well, I think it was the kiss. It was the affection that he's showing to his stepson.
When then he asked,
and I think
he wants him to be adopted too. Like he wants to adopt the son, and you know, he wants to be a father. He just really wants to. He wants to be a father, and I really just feel like I don't feel like he's a simp. I feel like he's an example of excellence, and we don't see excellence every day. You know, and so it's something that not many men or women unfortunately see. And so he's an example of that. When you get married, you cleave to your wife. It is your family. It is your wife. You know, he who findeth a wife findeth a good thing. So in spite of her past, I know I don't want anybody looking at me for the mistakes that I've made in my life. If we say we're going to be together, we got to kind of leave, you know, some of that stuff. Let's talk about it. Let's get through it. Leave some of that stuff and move forward. He's not looking at Future. He wasn't thinking about Future when he said, I love her and I want to marry her. And so now he's protecting his life, his family, and his legacy. I think I give him round of applause. And I just think that we don't have that many examples, unfortunately, in news and media and celebrities of excellence and how to be a really excellent husband and those sort of things. And so he seems like a punk or corny or a simp. Yeah. And the comment that he made about fear was that I think he has a healthy expression of fear. He said that he fears losing Sierra, which is why people say he's a simp. And I think that's fine. If I don't think it's a fear like he's really shaking in his boots. You know, he's created something and he loves her. And so he even stated that he knows in the word or whatever that, and you know, they're Christians and stuff. But anyway, that fear is not like something that is a healthy thing. He wasn't talking about that sort of fear. He was just saying, I love my wife. It was just basically an expression. So that's what
I think the fear for me when he said that was he takes value and he understands the importance of the relationship that he has with her. And when you have something that has value to you, you're going to protect it and you're going to give it some credence and you're going to make sure that you hold it very closely to you. So I think for me, when he said fear, I understood what he was saying. He said, I have value in this woman and I understand it. Going back to his love for his stepson, coming from a blended family, because my father's been married multiple times. And so I think my father has always shown affection to his sons. He kisses them on the lips. But I think that is having a sense of confidence in your sexuality and having a confidence in your manhood. That you, even if I don't know what his background is, because I don't know what his past, his family's relationship is with his mother and father, but it's obvious he is whatever the quote unquote establishment says a man is supposed to look like, particularly black men. He really doesn't meet that that image.
Right.
And it looks like, I don't know if he takes stock in purposely making sure he doesn't meet those criteria, or that's just who he is and it's coming from his upbringing. But I do think one of the things I love about their relationship, because it seems like a partnership, very much so a partnership. It seems like they both take stake in each other's visions. And I think that goes back to what Kimberly says. We don't really see that often when people are truly 100% partners with one another.
You know, and I need to look through, Kenia, I see you. I'm going to let you talk because you tried to get in before. I need to filter through some of the AKA and alpha trash to get to the real statements. Russ ain't no simp. He just stepping on toes of guys who refuse to be that for their women. It was somewhere up here. There was a double standard. Chanel said there's a double standard when it comes to genders. And then Elijah said, I highly doubt men are intimidated by Russell's example at all. We have many, emphasis on many, examples of Black love that we don't make fun of. Nooses and Lauren, Papoose and Remy, the list goes on. Men just view Russell as a beta male, so we make fun of him. It has nothing to do with the expression at all. There was nothing wrong with Russell's orthopedic shoes. Your feet would hurt too if you did all that.
Did all that right.
I love that they have a partnership. Nipsey, you want to say something, can you?
No, I was just actually, one of the comments kind of supported what I was going to say. He's just saying something that most men in his field, his peers just wouldn't say publicly in that way. I don't think that most men I know feel the same way about their wives or about the special women in their lives. So, you know, for people to call him corny, I think the whole thing there, when he said, you know, like, I love Remy and Papoose, like, I love their love, but they're both rappers, right? They're hardcore, like, their love is different. And so when we see the sappy kind of love, quote unquote, that Russell and Sierra have, I think people see it as him being less than a man, but that's the epitome of being a man, the way he's expressed his love for her and the way he's taking care of her with her in partnership and her child. So, yeah.
Because Papoose, to me, he's another one that takes value in his relationship. He is super protective of Remy Moss. And we've seen it. I've also seen it in the headlines too, where it even became physical. Like he don't mind putting his hands on you if it comes to protecting his woman. Yeah. So I think we all have to be a little bit more understanding that everybody's expression of love is going to look different and behave differently. And it's when it goes back to those what we consider normal. And if we would just not put those stigmas or those expectations on every relationship and just take them the way they are, I think we'd all be happy.
Yeah. I think there's
I would. There's so many irritants that I have with this. The biggest irritant that I have is that when we're living in a time that we're living in where we're still fighting for racial equality, and we're trying to talk about statements of inclusion, why would we occupy media space, communal space, social space to tear down a family when we are still fighting for basic human rights? To me, that is so childish, and it's so aggravating, because you have people who are literally putting their lives on the line to give us access to certain things, and we want to use our platform to tear down another brother and another sister.
Yeah.
It's frustrating to me, because you're not only disrespecting him when you talk about him, you're disrespecting his children, and you're disrespecting his wife. And Sierra has been disrespected too many times by the community. We called her a man. Y'all talked about how awkward she is, and the girl is just fighting. Y'all say she can't sing. The girl is just fighting for her piece of her pie and what she feels is owed to her. And we want to sit there instead, and the same ones who will say queen up in one statement, you talking junk about a queen. She's still a queen. Whether you agree with the kingdom that she still has a throne that she sits on. Matter of fact, the dude done paid for one literally for her to sit on. And we want to sit there and try to dethrone kings and queens when you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So, I mean, truth be told, I think that it is a waste of time, and it is a disease in the community to tear down a man when majority of us wish our father stepped up like that.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when my dad turned his back on me and the family, the guy that I call my dad didn't even marry my mom, had no relationship. I was just a kid on the street, and he took me in. That's who I call my dad. And he hugged me, he loved me, he kissed on me, he even showed me how to do so many different things. That's my dad.
Yeah.
So I don't see nothing about the blood. I don't care nothing about that. I think that that's childish. And it's usually the ones that we call the simp. Those are the ones we don't step to.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, ever since I became a love advocate, it has even been men that tried to try me. I was like, don't let the love advocacy fool you. Because we sometimes forget that. Like, people got stories. And people got a history. And just because you don't see that, and just because you can't relate to it, go back to what Kimberly McGhee said in the beginning. Educate yourself to those experiences.
Yeah.
People express differently.
Yeah.
And just because it's something that you wouldn't do doesn't make it lesser.
Yeah.
That's right.
The thing I wanted to add with that, I think there was a post or something that said you can tell a lot by the man, by the men that have an issue with Russell Wilson. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just a lack of character. It's just a lack of character. And so when we start to look at ourselves in our own community, we start to realize that there's not only work to do on the other side, there's work to do on our side as well with the way that we conduct ourselves.
Yeah,
it's funny, but that's love. That's some people actually want. That's what Chanel said. Ken said, looks good, sounds good, family, love y'all. Great topic.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
He said Nipsey, I got you, bro. He said Nipsey, Lauren were great examples of love that we respect. Lauren came with a child just like Sierra did. I'll leave that alone. Some of the people who are being critical really desire that type of love. They just don't want to admit it because certain group of people in society will say it's corny. Michael Smith said Russell was a good dad and a husband. It just seemed like he got a boring personality. Great quarterback. We're always cheering for everyone Black until we don't, which is quick and often.
Yes, that's good.
Okay, what you was about to say, bro? Sorry about cutting you off.
So along with the whole simp thing, people, the alpha male and beta male, or just alpha and beta period, is a big topic of discussion, especially in the community. And I would just like to say that the scientist who a lot of that alpha and beta male stuff, a lot of that stuff is his name is David Meck, I believe. His work, he debunked his own theory. That dude studied wolves in captivity and came up with a theory that there's an alpha male and a beta male, and the alpha male fights to the top and all that. And then he went, and years later, he went to the wild where actual wolves are and discovered that there's no alpha male and that there's not a dominant male. That just like in some ways, wolves are like humans. There's parents that want to protect their offspring. And so there's parents, but there's no super big bad alpha male that just dominates everybody. And he even tried to get his own book where the study was pushed in off the shelf. He tried to do it for years because the science is flawed and it's pseudoscience. And he even admits that.
So I'm sorry, go ahead, bro.
So that whole alpha and beta male stuff is literally not real. It's based on flawed
that's interesting that
work.
You brought that up. That's interesting that you brought that up. Do you think that, and this is me just like opening up a question for you guys, do you think that comes from more of a religious standpoint of the whole alpha male ideology?
I'm gonna laugh because, guys, we always have first. Kenia was the first one to take over, like straight brother empowerment behind the scenes. And Dionne turned it into perfectly flawed conversations. I'm gonna flip it on you guys. I want to see what this is.
Sorry, no, but
I love it. No, I love it.
I couldn't help it.
No, it's good. I think that, which is funny because I was kind of going into that same area of your question, not so much the religion part, but let's see. Oh, Kerwin, gotcha. Sid said, when love without your ego, it looks corny to people that care how they look to others. You better go in, Professor Cordell, and break it down for the people. For the more dominant, confident men than others, this is fact. Call it alpha, beta, or whatever. I will say this, though. When we start talking about alpha and beta, it is relative. And people who don't understand dynamics, it's just like, we equate certain things to gender specific, not understanding positioning. Can you tell you this? It's position in language. Kim will tell you there's position in language. So if we really want to talk about things, even women are the fighters and the protectors. Mm-hmm. Study Animal Kingdom. The women do that. Men usually step in when it is to establish some level of governance.
Yeah.
But the women handle all of that. But we don't understand that. And so we sit here want to rah all the time. And that doesn't make you alpha. Being strategic and knowing how to prepare a legacy is what make you alpha.
Yes.
Knowing how to navigate through various climates and situations is what's making you alpha. Even the things you hate to do, like mastering code switch. That makes you alpha. You can't go in the same arena acting the same way. But I'm going to tell you one thing that we need to see, because the value of marriage is going down. That's why people are confusing cohabitation with marriage. There are certain things that happen in a marriage that can't happen in cohabitation, not even from a spiritual standpoint. We're talking about from a legal standpoint. So we need to stop comparing fruit and calling it apple to apple because it's not the same.
It's not.
If you don't want to get married and you don't like marriage, say that. But don't say it's just a piece of paper because it's more than that.
Right.
If you don't value it, you won't get any value out of it. But I will say this too. We have to stop bashing things that we don't know and then say that we're advocating for cultural diversity.
Right.
Diversity is a difference in perspectives, a difference in experiences, things that are not like you. We got to get out of this, always trying to bring what we do at the table. And here's the thing, though. Your relationship may not be a relationship that I want, but I'm not going to call it damaging, toxic, or anything. What I look at is the smile on each other's face and the joy that you bring each other. If I'm not ripping and tearing each other down, I'm happy for you. But you may do things that Jay don't do. It's even the same way people raise kids. Stop saying kids are disrespectful because that's relative to the parent. I raise my kids to express themselves. You may say that's disrespectful, but that's why we angry adults, because our parents ain't let us express ourselves. We have to get out of this thing of judging people that are not like us, but don't want to be judged. We got to get rid of that, man, because this man is showing you how to take it in. And this is why there is damaged relationships with step parents right now.
Yep.
Because, oh, that's not my kid. This is my kid. And so this man is saying, well, I'm marrying the mother. Future, you ain't even taking care of this kid. You ain't taking care of the kid. Let me go ahead and adopt this kid so this kid will get what my kids get too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they will have something to say if he did. People will have something to say in that situation too. Like if he didn't love the kid, they have something to say then too.
Right.
That's true. You know, I want to share a personal situation with that. You know, like I previously have dealt with just basically being a bonus mom and also being a bonus mom from infidelity. And, even though going through that situation was very, very tough, I really cared still about my family and wanted to move forward with my marriage at the time. Of course, it was hurtful, but I knew that it was important and it was the right thing to do to still have a relationship with, if I'm moving forward with my husband, we have to move forward with the child. You know what I mean? So me being a bonus mom, I had to really make that a priority and also understand that the child is still, is most important. So we still have to love the child and still have to make sure that there is that connection and that bond the same way that you would love your other kids. Like the children are innocent. Like you can't punish the children and try to blend a family with the spouse or the actual individual. You can't say that you love that individual or you love your spouse without loving their children as well.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Tara said loud and upfront usually have a quieter dominance behind the scenes. Don't believe the flex. One person has the moment to all positions when needed. Kenia, come on and close us out with this one, because I'm going to try to move to another topic.
No, I mean, I think at the end of the day, when people see an example of love like that, a lot of times it brings out a level of jealousy because they never experienced it themselves. I think a lot of the backlash is behind really wanting that kind of attention from someone that they may have never experienced, or the men not being able to do that because they've never tapped into that side of themselves. So, I think someone already said it. If he was beating her up, it'd be one thing. He'd be all over the news. He's loving her. He's all over the news. It's just, he can't win. So at the end of the day, he's doing what he needs to do for himself and his wife and his family. So
that's right.
People always got something to say. People always got something to say when you accept someone. You accept everything that comes with them. And I couldn't agree with that more. Let's get into the next topic. What are your general thoughts on the state of Black America? Yeah, Kenya, you hum. Come on.
First.
What are my general thoughts? So my thoughts are unique because both my parents are from Haiti. So I come from a culture where, like, we were proud to be Black. I never knew anything but being proud to be Black. We were the first Black republic to gain independence. Like, I know Haiti isn't what it's all cracked up to be or what it should be right now, but I never got the message of like, don't do this, don't do that because you're Black. Like, it was always like, why can't you? So I come from that viewpoint of I don't understand a lot of the things that have happened because I don't have anyone saying, well, back in 1945, this is what happened to our family. Like, that's not my story. So being immersed in the South and hearing and experiencing some of the things that I have, it's very sad to me that some of what still exists. I think that we have to stop we have to stop being our own first enemy. Like, we are our first enemy in a lot of situations as Black people. And I think in order to really grow into the space that we can grow into, and that's part of the problem. We don't believe in ourselves first. And that's a lot of why we've been held back for so long. So, it's hard for me to answer that question because I don't know that I have the average perspective. I've got two kids that were born in this country, but I'm also raising them with the Haitian mindset of we are not what people see. Does that make sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense because you bring up the dynamic that is often discussed is the difference between the Blacks, meaning an African-American Black born here, and Blacks from other regions of the world and their mentality. So that is a dynamic that is often not really addressed in this manner. So,
I grew up, strongly encouraged not to marry an African-American man, and that's a hard thing to say. And it was so foreign to me because I wasn't immersed in a Haitian culture outside of being in Brooklyn and in Florida. Like, I was in Raleigh, North Carolina. Where am I supposed to find a Haitian man at? But I was encouraged not to marry an African-American man. And that's a whole nother conversation of how, like you said, Africans see us, how West Indians see us. It's not favorable at all in many instances.
Ooh, that is so many things you just said that I want to dive into.
And it's a hard conversation. It is such a difficult, because I never want to position it as I'm against my own people, but I think that there needs to be an unveiling of some of the issues, and there's some hard truths there before we can actually progress forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that we don't realize this. Black isn't an ethnicity. It is a race that is a mixture of cultures. That we identify with the similarities, but we struggle with the things that we're dissimilar in. So yes, the Black culture, big umbrella, connects us all because we do have relative experiences. But there are a lot of experiences that we don't have, and you're fortunate to have that next level, which is ethnicity.
And I think, and this last thing I'll say, and I'll let other people talk. I think what you're saying is the biggest issue that most African Americans have is that lack of identity. Like, I just had this conversation today. When Black Panther came out, so many people felt connected to something because we finally saw like where we came from, what it possibly could look like, what it looked like. And there was some sort of tie. Like, I feel like a lot of Black people, African Americans, are just kind of wandering, trying to figure out, well, what is my root, right? If you ask most Black people, where are your people from? They don't know. They have no idea where they come from. And that is the missing piece of identity that I'm not going to say we, because I know where I come from, right? I'm so closely tied to my culture. But that's where a lot of the issue lies. And I think if we could reconnect, like, I'm all for movement, going back to Africa. White people say, go back to where you can. I'll be happy to go back to Africa, right? Because I think that would do us so good. Like, that would make our souls complete, in my opinion.
Man, hold on, let me get these comments. Chanel said, I feel like we're being told to move. All these movies such as American Skin and Judas and The Black Messiah at this particular time, that can't be by coincidence, or could it? Elijah said, it bothers me that Africans and West Indies talk down on our American-born brothers and sisters. Tara agreeing with you because her husband is Antiguan. And he said, it's true. My husband is extremely different. Elijah said, now we have groups like, I don't even know what these groups are, ADOS and FBA, separating Blacks from each other. I'm gonna have to research that because you just gave me some knowledge, Elijah. And yes, I was told I was not African by an African native gentleman. But I think, go ahead, bro.
I was going to say, ADOS is called, it's American Descendants of Slaves. I've heard of that group before. And I do agree with the brother E that American Descendants of Slavery, that they are very divisive, and I think that division is one of the key issues that plagues Black America.
Well, I just want to say that explains the unrest. It's not so much. There's two things that happen, and we lump things together: image and identity and reflection. They're not all the same, but it's great when they complement one another. Who I am organically has nothing to do necessarily with my lineage, but it helps me understand what I possess. Because we talk a lot about gifts, but we don't talk a lot about the potency of these gifts. So if you know where you come from, you kind of know the strength that you bring to a dynamic. The reflection is nothing more than distorted light. I may not be a reflection of you, and depending on the scene, depending on where I am, that light may change. So that reflection may change. Who I identify as is a personal acceptance. And a lot of people haven't accepted them yet to accept an identity to identify with. The unrest, I get it. A lot of us don't know. But look at the beautiful thing that Black people have made. We made a culture. Every time, if lemonade was a person, it would be Black people, because we have perfected making lemonade out of all these situations every time lemons were thrown out of us. We created a culture when they said, I'm going to take away your ethnicity, but we found a way to bond. We found a way to connect. We found a way to give community, and that is through being Black. Mm-hmm. But there is an unrest because there are so many marks that have already been against us in the U.S. We don't like to take other marks. So sometimes any blemish that will put more weight on us, we tend to attack that blemish because we look at it as another weight, not as an opportunity. We are at a place where we do need to heal, but we all are healing from different things. But that can't stop us from moving forward. That shouldn't stop us. We have a way of being innovative and constantly moving forward and constantly doing great things. Imagine if we collectively did that. Remember, one of the things that we do on Brother Empowerment is, well, Love is a Parable, aside from Brother Empowerment, is that we debunk the whole thing that success is a solo venture. There's no such thing as solo success. That's why anybody who's ever did anything, we give them their credit. We always talk about, it was Dionne that challenged us to start Brother Empowerment. Malika said we prepared men for masculinity, but we didn't prepare them for humanity. Mm. Those things resonate, and it's important to give people their credit. It is important to give people the things that they contribute, because that's the exact thing that happened to Black people in America. Mm. They took away everything from us and then gave themselves credit for it. Yeah. Yeah. We have to come back and give each other credit for being who they are. Yeah. It takes a balance. We can learn from Future. We can learn from Russell. That doesn't make them greater or less. There are opportunities right there, because guess what? Future has an opportunity to influence so many people. Imagine if the right brother didn't condone his actions, but got in his ear to say, you got this gift of influence. These are the things that you can do with it. So the thing is, we don't know our potential. Yeah. We don't know our true gifts, and we've been just getting by off surface. Some of it's been stolen from us. Some of it has been told to us in bits and pieces, but we haven't even tapped into it. And I do hate this thing like Black girl magic or Black people have magic. No, we need to stop trying to find terms to help other people who are not Black understand how extraordinary we are by default. Yeah. It's just being Black. Yes, you have the ability to make stuff happen. That ain't magic. That's just me being me.
Well, and I think that's why they separated us from where we should have been in the first place, because they understood the power behind what the knowledge, the abilities, the talents, just who we are as a people. So, that person that said, I feel like they're telling us to go back home. Our people are telling us to go back home, because if we could only go back and be who we were meant to be, we would take over the world. And that's why we continue to be shot at. We continue to be killed. Our knees continue to be on our throats. Like, these are the reasons why, because they understand that they are the inferior group, and we have the power to change a lot of things in this world. But when they control this,
yeah, I think for the most part, there is definitely a shift of consciousness. I do think that a lot more people are becoming aware. I do think that a lot more people are becoming, woke, if that's what you want to call it, as far as, just even from a spiritual standpoint of, what some of our ancestral, spiritual practices and things that, we did as a people and things like that, that tapped into that strength and that power. So I do think that there are things that are happening, that are, moving more towards that type of movement. And like I said, in consciousness, but we still have to, I still think there's a lot of work that we need to do as far as leadership. Unfortunately, I just feel like we have a lot of leaders in our communities. I mean, we got a ton of community leaders, even right in our own community right here in Wake County. I'm so, thankful for that. And I'm so proud to see so many of our Black leaders that have become activists and have become, people that are, speaking out and making more of a movement here in our local communities. But I just think, like, nationally, you know what I'm saying? We need that, like, specific leader that's going to be able to speak this message to all of us as a Black people.
But are we ever going to... Sorry, go ahead. Yeah. No. I've talked enough. You can go.
I was going to say, I like to throw a log into the fire. One of the things that I think for me, like Kenia, my experience of being Black is different because I look white, so I can pass. So it goes back to what you were saying, the way your influence is. I know that I can navigate as a white woman until you get around me, then the eyebrows kind of go up and like, she's not quite the white girl we thought she was. But I think I understand the importance, and my father made sure that we understood. And I told the story before, I had gotten beat up. I'd been in fights all week, white girls and Black girls. And I had been very, very upset coming home. I was scruffed all up, and my dad gives you like this little moment to have a pity party and then, man up. Like you grew up, man up. And one of the things he made sure he knew that, he said, you're here to infiltrate. And I didn't even know what the freaking word infiltrate meant. I had to go look it up in the encyclopedia. That's how long ago it was. But he made sure, he's like, you'll be able to open up doors from the inside, but we can't open up from the outside. Mm-hmm. So I took it upon myself to make sure that I understood I can navigate with nobody questioning me. I can go into a store, nobody says anything to me. I've talked it down to cops and nobody has pressured or made it been asserted to me. I understand that, but I also understand that I'm Black first because I identify. So I use my influence not only for my own community to say, you have the right to do this. Know your civil liberties. Know you have to fight. My parents made sure they were civil rights fighters. Both of that's how they met, fighting for civil rights. So it's just like, make sure you understand what you can and cannot do, but that you have the influence to change laws, to march, to vote. I mean, make your voice be heard, but then also for me, I'm comfortable. So I can go into a white audience and talk to them, and there's a sense of they will listen when I start to unfold the story. And so I can give them examples as a white Black female about my father being chased by police, about my brothers not being able to, seeing my uncles be harassed, seeing my grandmother, going into a store where the woman would serve me and wouldn't serve my grandmother, and raising up. So I think it is But also for me, it's a twofold real quickly, is because one of the things that goes back to the Black America is one, acceptance, I think that is, but then two, also being accountable for our own future. I think it goes back to really accountability. We have an opportunity right now to really be accountable for what we wanted America to look like. We see that with Kamala Harris. We see that with the administration. And I'm a conservative. And that's another thing. I am a Black conservative, a Black Republican. I'm part of a Black Republican group. Not because if people know their history, and then people are like, oh my God, you're a Republican. Well, that's acceptance. I know who I am. I know why I joined the Republican Party. I'm a capitalist. I believe in entrepreneurship. I believe in making my own money. I don't want the government to tell me what I can and cannot do. I don't believe in socialism. But it's one of those things I think we have the opportunity right now, more so than ever in history, to really take ownership and mold and shape this new America that we have with this new administration, with the education of our kids, and then also being more prevalent and more present in our communities.
Absolutely.
Wow. Yeah.
That's another great perspective on things.
Celestine said, African American are a branch of Blackness, but we are unique. We are different from other Black cultures and have so many differences among ourselves, yet we survive. Yes, we still have a long way to go. We have always found a way to give to the world under the harshest conditions. I think we should be proud of that.
Indeed.
And we agree. Now is at a place, guys, an hour go by fast. It like ran by.
6 people.
Look, well, 6 dynamic people who all have their strong, and I think that's one of the things, because guys, you're looking at 6 people who actually are all entrepreneurs. This is 6 entrepreneurs who come together to push 2 businesses.
Mm-hmm.
The message that's being said right now, because Cordell has his own business, he has an IT business, and of course we have Love is a Parable, but you women can hold your own, and you guys came together as a collective force. This is the example that I think more people should see. And I just wanted to clarify, I get the sentiment, but we didn't lose anything. Things were stolen or things are undeveloped. Those are the 2 options that we have been given. Things have been stolen from us, or we don't know the things that we truly have that is within us. This is an example of what you have within you. Brothers don't have to be at war with brothers. Sisters don't have to be at war with sisters. And brothers and sisters can come together to impact change in their own space, in their own regard, and still make an impact. So ladies, I want to thank you for coming on, sharing part of your story. We're going to have to figure out how to have you guys back. We probably going to have to do 50% and then 50%.
Y'all have to come to our show so we can ask a whole bunch of questions that we've been wanting to ask men, and have some really good.
We're gonna do like Dionne. We're gonna flip it. We're gonna do it like Dionne and flip it. So let us ask you a question.
Don't ask me.
We're all about reciprocity.
Don't ask me no question. I try to tell people that if they're clever enough, they can actually tag me in the post or in the question, and I will actually answer it.
What the funny thing is, I could just call you.
That's true.
So, but yes, positive. Yeah, we would love to come on. Positive Brother shout out. And we always clarify this. You have Cordell and I who are the hosts, but we actually have 4 other men that are collaborators with Brother Empowerment as well. Kerwin, you already seen. Ricky, you've already seen. Ian, Parks, and Keon didn't come on, but he'll watch it later. Keon, Devontae, Ragland, who also help us with this whole Brother Empowerment movement. So yeah, you got some dynamic people that we got to introduce you to, Kim. Some of them you know, but some of you haven't met yet. But I definitely would love for you guys to meet them. But and yes, we'll come on whenever you guys have us. Yep. Because I know y'all do once a month, right? Mm-hmm. Once a month. So let us know. Yeah. We'll try to fill it.
We're all about reciprocity. So We'll be there. Just let us know when.
So positive brother shout out. This is your opportunity to shout out. Kim, Kimberly Winborne, you know this one. So I'm gonna let you go first because you know how to do it, because you done been on the show. Dionne done been on the show. So that way when Kimberly McGhee and Kenia get it, they'll know exactly what to do.
All right. So my positive brother shout out is always my brother, Brian Hines.
My brother.
Yes, okay. So my brother Brian Hines, who's a barber, stylist, one of my biggest influences growing up. I also have another brother that I want to shout out. His name is Tim Majette. He's a pastor living in Atlanta, a very great family man. And my other brother, Chris. So I'm going to shout out my 3 brothers.
Oh, 3 brothers, great job for what you're doing. 1 brother, I like. No.
You mean you know or you like? And no.
I'm gonna let the viewers come up with that. Go ahead, Dionne. Who you got?
Let's see. Well, first of all, I do want to definitely send a shout out to my dad and my brother. I don't really get to thank them as much as I should. And just, acknowledging them for not just what they mean to me, and especially also in this state of like divorce and starting over, and just basically with them being here for me, just with everything being so supportive and all the manly things that need to get done around the house. I'm just going to like really shout them out for that, because they always just come to my rescue for just anything that I need, and just supporting me with, the work that I do in the community and showing up to events and just being that solid support system. But I also want to shout out you, Jay, and you, Cordell, because I'm really proud of y'all. Like, I am so proud of you guys. I shared with the ladies that, we had already done some work together and just kind of seen our growth, and just, how we've, made some changes over the year, just with everything that's been going on with COVID and, just with our different platforms. So I just want to say that I absolutely big y'all up every time I see something on, social media or, just a post or whatever. I'm so proud of y'all with, the platform that you've created, but more importantly, the conversation. You have created a space to be able to have a conversation about things that we really need to discuss and that we really need to talk about, especially amongst men. So, because we as women, we don't have a problem usually opening up and talking about our thoughts. So I think that this is extremely dope what you guys have created and being able to do so with your platform.
Thank you.
Thank you a lot, man. I'm almost speechless.
Yeah, and I'm like, Kimberly McGhee, I don't know how you're gonna top that one. I mean, come on and give your positive.
Well, I first want to say I want to give a shout out to my father, Minister John Woods, for raising 7 children and adopting neighborhood kids that didn't have father. And if you've never met my dad, you'll become his child before the end of the day. And so I just want to give a shout out to my father for all that he does and all of the things that he sacrificed for driving the tank, as we used to call it, while his wife had the better car, and working always 2 jobs so his kids could be educated, and we never lacked for anything. So I want to give a shout out to him and my brothers for being the example that Daddy taught you how to do. So good fathers, good husbands. I also want to shout out to my homies, Ken Branson, who I think is an awesome father, an amazing business person, and I've known Ken for 20 years now, and I've seen we've grown together like siblings. We've grown together like siblings, and I adore him. And so we've had Scrabble moments, like fussy moments. But I adore Ken. He is a true quintessential man of honor and integrity, and I adore him. I also want to give a shout out to my very dear friend, Tony Lewis, who is fighting brain cancer right now. who is still holding it down for his wife, who is still taking care of his kids and his grandchildren and fighting brain cancer. I also want to shout out real quick Dionne Wingate, who is doing amazing things in the community and changing the narrative. And then one of our favorite super fans, who I follow now, I've become like, he's gonna have to call security on me in a little bit, and that's Cornelius Kirk with CK. So I think he's doing an amazing job with You Matter and all the things that he's doing. I've been watching him, and we've never met, but now I feel like I know him as a brother for the cause. So I just want to shout, and then of course you two, amazing. You guys are awesome. So thank you guys for letting me come on today and get to know you guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come on, the communicator.
The director.
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. My shout out goes to my son Caleb. He is a mini Russell Wilson in the making. He has the greatest heart. Has no qualms about showing love and affection, and I tell him every day it's okay, and he does it. And so that's who my shout out goes to.
Awesome sauce, bro.
I am my brother Elton Benjamin. Forgot about him.
Yes.
No
Elton Benjamin.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah.
No addendums.
I thought I had to be. I had to be quick.
Go ahead, bro. It's on you.
So first and foremost, I always gotta, not always have to, but I always shout out my brother Jay first and foremost.
Yeah.
But I had to change that there. It's not by force. But no, I always want to shout out my brother Jay. Just because, man, it'll be 3 years doing this in November. And, we started this with just an idea off of it. Of course, the challenge from like Dionne, like Jay said about Dionne, she challenged us, but we started this with an idea. Didn't know how it was going to go, where it was going to go. We just said, we have a goal and we have a purpose. So we're just going to do it and it's going to work itself out. And it has. And it's been a wonderful, just seriously dope journey. And I couldn't imagine doing this with anybody else but my brother, for real. So every week is just phenomenal. Like, it don't matter what kind of week I'm having. When I come to do Brother Empowerment, it's like if I having a bad week, it kind of just melts away when we do Brother Empowerment. It's the highlight of my week, for real. So I'm gonna shout out my brother Jay because he's dope. And like I always tell him, his light shines super bright, supernova bright. So I also want to shout out the brothers that came on tonight with us and they offered their commentary. Michael, Kerwin, Ricky, all those brothers. I want to shout those brothers out because you are positive brothers and your perspective is welcome, no matter how different, because like the brother Jay said, we focus too much on the differences, but even with those differences, we have way more things that are similar about us that bring us together, and those are more important, and so differences of perspective strengthen the cause, doesn't weaken it, contrary to popular belief. And so I want to give a special shout out to, of course, Uncle Marcus, Keon, aka Devontae Ragland, aka I call him Master Ragland because he's my personal torture trainer. And I want to give a special shout out to my cousin Slap in Virginia that I went and saw this week. And we met each other several years ago, but we are super, super close now. We're both Leos. His birthday's the day after mine. And that's really like my dog, for real. Like that's my dude. So special shout out to my cousin Slap. And
Sorry about that.
last two things. Number one, I want to give a shout out to the brothers that are in the community. We've already talked about really doing things in the community. The brothers that are really just, being the change they want to see. They don't need a camera or anyone's congratulations to do what they do. They're, walking in their purpose, and they do it because that's what they're led to do. And, I definitely want to, also shout out the brothers who are actual elders in the community. Not brothers who just think because they got older or they're blessed with a long life that they deserve to have someone listen to them, but actual elders who earn their position and really respect, younger generations and really admit, pour into them. And last but not least, I want to also give a shout out to brothers that are having, the tough conversation with people in their lives, whether that be to strengthen relationships or to release them or to really just get past certain issues. I want to give a shout out to those brothers because that's positivity, that's strength, and that's growth. And, we were taught as men, especially black men, that you don't need to do those things because you either just grit and bear it or you fight. And that's how you take care of it. But I want to give a shout out to the brothers who are having those conversations, because that's real strength, because there's strength in vulnerability. So that's it for me.
Thank you, bro. I definitely thank you for everything. Thank you for doing this. We started Love is a Parable together. So it's like you almost like a secondary founder because we didn't know what we were doing. Like, we're about to start this. He's like, yep, let's do it. So thank you for all the things that you do as far as the leadership, and thank you for doing this. And it's funny because I met you because of Kimberly Winborne. We went from perfect strangers to best of friends. And I'm so glad that I'm doing this thing with you, because I couldn't imagine doing it with anybody else. So I definitely do appreciate you. My siblings, Tremel, Mike, my older brothers, Rodney, Daryl, and Vincent, my bonus brothers and my god brothers, all y'all, man. Thank y'all for being dope. I'm glad that I can rely on you guys. Sean, who checks on me every single day, and we talk every day. So thank you, bro, for the encouragement, for always being there. I got to give a shout out to Bill Rose. Man, he's a pastor at Oasis Church down in Holly Springs, and he is doing the work to bring about cultural diversity, inclusion, even admitting the things that he doesn't know, and opening that opportunity opening a door for opportunity for togetherness to truly happen. So I thank all of them, and especially those who are on, Keon, Ricky, E. I love you guys, and we tell each other that, and it's true. Thank you for making me better. Thank you for just being completely amazing people in my life. When I look back over the things that I've been through, you realize it was worth it because it laid a foundation for me to meet great people like you guys. Now, like we tell people every week, if you feel that there's nobody in this world that care about you or love you, you just met 6 people who really care about you, who really love you and are here for you. Make sure you connect with these wonderful ladies, their organizations. All of them have multiple things that are going on, and you want to get to know them. If you don't know them, know them. They are very approachable, because I just think Kimberly McGhee and Kenia friend requests, and they just accept it. They ain't even say nothing. And I'm like, hey, I was in their inbox too. And they ain't say nothing. I don't care. I was in it.
I think I came after you first.
I am desirable, so that makes sense.
I think I tracked you down first. Let's get that story straight first.
But the funny thing is, I know so many Kimberlys and Kims, and all of them have, like, I thought we were already friends before that. That's the funny thing. You'll be surprised how many Kims.
I
know. So yeah, I thank you guys, but guys, reach out to all of these powerful women, and know that they have networks that you want to be connected to.
Yep.
They have gifts and talents and skills that may improve the quality of life, but it's all about the collective we.
Yep.
Ladies, would you guys stay on? Because we're about to close out. But everybody else, we will see you guys next week.
On Thursday.
No matter what they say, we good over this way. This is positivity in the making. Open others to break through. Without praying.